Have you ever asked yourself the question, what motivates you? Like, what gets you going in the morning? Why do you do the things that you do? Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's DL Barry, but you could just call me Barry. And what I got for you is a domination gameplay on the map Fringe. I hope you enjoy it. But let me get into this commentary topic of what motivates me, or what motivates you. Now, when I think about this topic and when I consider it, I think there's a lot of people out there that might say money. Money is their main motivator. It's why they do everything they do. But I want to make the case that money might not be the best motivator out there for us, right? Because the Bible says that the root of all evil is the love of money. And I think there's something that rings true about that, because if I think of myself, like if money was the only thing that motivated me, I think I might be able to do some really nasty, hurtful things to get the money that I wanted, right? Like, and how much money is enough money if that is all I'm achieving? So, like if I got $100,000, would I be content then? Or maybe $1 million, or what if I got $1 billion? Would I be content? Now, the deepest part of me wants to say, like, yeah, of course I'd be content. But I hear stories and I see things, so many people who have so much money, but yet they still do horrible things to people who don't have as much. For instance, like big corporations and big banks that sell people false packages, false loan packages, knowing that there's nothing that's going to come from it, just so they can get those people's money and they don't have to give them anything for it. I mean, that's the type of greed that it disturbs me, man. And I think it's all because these men and women who are over these businesses, the main thing that motivates them, all they want is money. They want more money, so they don't care who they run over. They don't care, who they wrong, just as long as they get what they want, right? So I'm not sure if money is the best motivator for me, and the same thing with success or achieving goals. Success used to be my main motivator. All I wanted in life was to be successful, but then I got to the point, like, how much is enough success? If I have a full-time job, if I'm faithful to my wife, is that successful? Or do I want the big house? Do I want the nice car? Is that success? And who determines what success is anyway? Society? I'm not sure if that is the best motivator as well. But before I tell you what my motivation is, I want to tell you a little bit of a story about something I went through. And man, it's tough for me to tell this story. But a few years back, my grandmother passed away, and I love my grandma. She was just a strong woman. I could always go to her. I could always talk to her. She had strong faith. She believed in God. She taught me things like the Lord's Prayer and the 10 Commandments, and I just owe so much to her. But yeah, she passed away, and so me and my wife, we traveled down to Texas where she lived. And so we got ready, and if you guys don't know how all this works, like the family gets together and talks over the will and talks about what's going to happen. And my grandmother had left us some money, but how she did it was she gave it to my uncle, her brother, in hopes that he would distribute it evenly among everybody else. And so it was like, okay, so this is how it goes. And not only that, but he was supposed to take part of that money and pay the funeral expenses. That's what was supposed to happen, right? So we sat down and we came to this agreement. We went through all the things, and then shortly after, come to find out, my uncle, who was from California, took the money that he was supposed to use to pay off the funeral expenses. He took the money and ran to California, man. And it was crazy, right? Because my whole family is dealing with the loss of my grandma, and now we have to deal with the fact that you know, this man, my uncle, took this money and ran off to California. And bro, we were hot. I mean, we were heated. Like, how can you do that, especially in such a rough time like that, right? And then that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about when I say money can lead you to do, like, if money is your main motivator, it can lead you to do some bad, horrible things. There's another story that comes along with this. The church that we were supposed to have our reception in. So generally after a funeral, there is a dinner, a reception. Everybody comes together, the family gathers, and they're able to be there for us and comfort us in this rough time. The community gathers together. It's a beautiful thing. And so this church, Antioch Baptist Church, in a small town in Texas, and my grandmother had went there for so many years, but because of something that the pastor was doing, she decided to switch churches. So we had the funeral in the church that she currently attended, and then we were supposed to have the reception at her old church, just so we could, remember both places she served at. Well, this church that we were supposed to have the reception at, like the night before we're getting ready to have the reception, we get this call and we find out that their lights have been turned off. Like, the church's lights got turned off. They didn't pay their light bill, right? And nobody knew what happened. But, me, my wife, my mom, our family, we went to meet with the pastor, and the pastor had this big old house. He had about 5 cars in the driveway. His TV was so big, man. And then, when I looked and I thought about the church's lights being turned off and nobody knowing where the money went, I'm like, I know where the money went. The money went to this dude's house. And that's a sad thing, man. Hey, I tell you, I believe in God, but that type of stuff right there, pastors who use all the congregation's money for their own gain, just really upsets me. And that's not something that I'm for, and that's not something that I condone. And I just want to tell you guys that not all Christians or not all people who believe in God condone that type of thing. But anyways, it just made me wonder, what was that pastor's motivation? Did he really want to serve God's people, or was his motivation money? And that brings me to what my motivation is. The thing that keeps me going, man, the thing that I can't ever give up, that even when everything else fails me, is faith in God. Like, that's the thing that's the ultimate motivator for me, because I don't do things for success. I don't do things for money. I don't even do things for people. Everything that I do when I get up, I do for the glory of God. And that's the thing that motivates me the most. And that's why I'm doing this YouTube channel. Like, I enjoy this, but ultimately I want to give God glory in what I'm doing. I want to be able to do the right thing, but I also want to be entertaining and provide good commentaries. So anyways, I'll go ahead and conclude this commentary. I want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. Hey, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed the story. And why don't y'all leave a comment and tell me what your motivation is. Hopefully you found mine encouraging and it can motivate you as well. But anyways, I want to tell you guys to be blessed and be safe. And as always, it's your boy DL Barry, but you could just call me Barry, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.